Right, let's start by clearing something up. When most people say a car is beautiful, they're usually talking about something like a Porsche 911 or a Lamborghini Huracan. And trust me, I like a 911 as much as anyone else. But no, truly beautiful cars are much rarer and almost never seen. Just whispered about by those that know of them. And the Alfa Romeo 33 Stradale is quite possibly the most beautiful of them all. Not just pretty, not just merely attractive. No, this thing is drop dead, give it its own Vatican-wing. Beautiful. And yet, despite being so gorgeous, it could have been sculpted by the ghost of Michelangelo. The 33 Stradale is also a full-blown racing car, a savage, razor-edge V8 powered monster built by lunatics in white coats during a brief moment in history when Italy collectively decided to do things properly. You see, in the 60s, Alfa Romeo was not content with merely making pretty saloons for bankers anymore and decided it wanted to go racing again. But not the gentlemanly type of racing with tweed and gin. No, Alfa wanted blood, and so they turned to Carlo Chetti, an ex-Ferrari engineer who'd left Maranello in a cloud of cigar smoke and creative differences. Chetti, of course, had formed Auto Delta, a sort of speed-crazed skunkworks based in Settimo, Milanese, just outside of Milan. Auto Delta's goal was clear: dominate prototype racing. The result was the Tipo 33, a delicate, aluminium-tubbed, race-spec animal with a heart like no other, a 2-liter V8 that shrieked to 10,000 RPM. It was clever, light and quick, but here's where things got weird, in the best possible way. Someone, somewhere inside Alfa Romeo looked at this thing and thought, let's put that on the road. And thus the 33 Stradale was born, or 33. I tried to be fancy, hopefully I almost got the pronunciation right, but at least I tried. Anyways, the 33 Stradale wasn't a road car in the traditional sense. This wasn't a comfy GT cruiser for picking up a cappuccino on Lake Como. It was a race car with indicators. It shared its tubular aluminium chassis with the Tipo 33 prototype and used a detuned version of the same mid-mounted dry-sump flat-plane V8. And by detuned, we're talking 227 horsepower, at the time when most cars were content puffing out around 90. The engine-coded Tipo 33/2 was a all-aluminium 2-liter dual with twin overhead cams per bank, 16 valves, Spica mechanical fuel injection, and a red line somewhere north of sanity. It was matched to a 6-speed Calotti transaxle that delivered its rage to the rear wheels. The result was a car that could hit 60 in under 6 seconds. And remember, this was 1967. The Lamborghini Miura needed more than 6. The Ferrari 275 GTB was even slower still. So this thing was properly fast. But the numbers only tell half the story, because the 33 Stradale weighed just 700 kilograms. That's less than a Mark 1 Golf. You sit in it like you're lying in a high-speed coffin, except it's one made by a master craftsman using only aluminium, stitched leather and unapologetic Italian madness. Of course, no story about the 33 Stradale is complete without mentioning its bodywork. And what bodywork it is! Designed by Franco Scaglione, a man who until then had mostly worked on aircraft and looked like he could sketch the shape of speed in his sleep, the Stradale is perfection made metal. There isn't a single angle on the car that doesn't look stunning. The front end flows like the bow of a 1960s speedboat. The haunches are wide and sensual, muscular without being brutish. The doors open like the wings of a gull in slow motion, slicing upward at a diagonal. And these were the first dihedral doors ever used on a production car. In fact, this was years before McLaren thought they were clever. And every vent, every scoop, every bulge had its purpose, but also an elegance. The air intakes ahead of the rear wheels could be a sculpture, and the pinched rear end looked like the car is inhaling speed. But depending on when your particular chassis was built, you either got twin headlamps or single units, extra brake vents, or slight variations in the roofline. No two were quite alike, and that's just how the Italians like it. After all, Michelangelo didn't do batch runs. Anyways, slip inside if you can, and you were met with an interior that's either race spec or gentleman racer, depending on which of the 12-bodied examples you're lucky enough to find. Some had bare metal, exposed rivets, and no padding. Others had stitched leather dashboards and dials laid out with a certain Milanese flair. But none of them had creature comforts. Air conditioning? Ha! Radio? Are you mad? The Stradale was about purity, about driving fast, feeling everything, and being able to hear the camshafts punching air at 10,000 RPM. The seats are bolted to the floor and the pedals offset. But when it all comes together, it's motoring perfection. Now, as I said, only 18 chassis were made between 1967 and 1969. 12 of those received the standard Stradale bodywork from Carrozzeria Marazzi. The other 6, well, those were handed off to some of Italy's most famous design houses, Bertone, Pininfarina and Ital Design, to serve as the basis for various outlandish concept cars. And those concepts were works of art in their own right. Here's my favorite, the one from Pininfarina. Anyways, each Stradale was hand-built. Each one was slightly different, as I said, and each one cost a staggering $17,000 at the time, which in today's money is around $133,000. But in those days, it made the 33 Stradale the most expensive production car on sale. More expensive than a Miura, more than a 275 GTB. It was the Pagani Huayra of its day, except lighter, purer and probably louder. Now I will say a lot of people remember Alfa Romeo for rust, flaky wiring and the spider that Dustin Hoffman drove in The Graduate. But the 33 Stradale is proof, glorious roaring proof, that when the Italians put their minds to it, they can build something that makes every other road car look crappy. Yes, it was uncomfortable. Yes, it was unforgiving. And no, it wasn't exactly the easiest thing to park at the supermarket. But that was never the point. The 33 Stradale wasn't built to commute. It was built to be, to exist, as a rolling sculpture that just happened to have a racing pedigree, a 10,000 RPM soundtrack, and a soul made entirely of drama and petrol. Today these cars are priceless. When one does come up for sale, you're looking at north of $10 million. And that's assuming you can find an owner willing to part with theirs. Most aren't, and can you blame them? Because the 33 Stradale isn't just a car, it's a high watermark, a moment when design, engineering and madness came together in perfect harmony, and then promptly vanished, like all great art. Anyways, at the end of this video, please let me know what you guys think of this car and its story. If you guys like this video, please have a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you guys did like this video, you'll most probably enjoy most of my other stuff. So just go through my channel, see if there's something else you like. I'll check you guys in the next one. Cheers,